So it says factor. So we're going to factor z squared, and I cross my z's because apparently my z's and my 2's look a whole lot alike. And I can't really argue with that. I definitely can see that. Sometimes I do my 2's a little bit more bubbly, but they do look a lot alike. All right, so we are going to factor this piece. So remember, factoring means we're going to break it down into binomials when we have a trinomial. So immediately I know this is what it's going to look like in the factored form. I'm going to have a binomial times a binomial. Because I see plus and plus here, I know it's going to be plus and plus down here. So that's actually a pattern. If you pay attention to that, you can tell where you're going to have your positives and negatives. So if I had in my binomial or my trinomial, if I had a minus and a plus, well, in order to get a plus in the end and a minus in the middle, that means I would have 2 negatives. So my 2 binomials would be negative and negative. If I had, go back, if I have a plus in the middle and a minus on the end, well, that means it's a positive times a negative here. So that end one can give you a lot of information. So if it's a positive, that could be both positives or both negatives. You have to look to the middle. If it's a positive in the middle and a positive on the end, both positives. But if it's a positive and a negative, then it means you had 2 negatives because you're multiplying 2 negatives to get that positive, but then you also have a negative here because you combine them. And then if it's a negative on the end but a positive in the middle, that's a guarantee that it's 1 positive, 1 negative. So again, I'm putting a lot of emphasis on that because it's a little pattern if you can memorize how that looks. My table's tipping over here. All right. So in order to factor this, what we want to do is look at the first term and the last term. So the first term, well, the only way to get z squared is to go z times z. So that's easy. When there's no coefficient on there, we just break it apart. It's z and z. Then I take this 20 and I say, okay, what are my factors of 20? It's 1 and 20, 2 and 10. I can't do 3, but I can do 4 and 5. So here are all my factors, my possible ways to get 20. And what I want to do is I want to figure out which one of those add up. Since it's plus and plus, they're going to add together to get 9. Well, that would be 4 and 5. So 4 and 5, and this is the factor form. So that's all they want us to do there. They don't want us to go farther and do any kind of solving because there is no equal sign yet. So z plus 4 and z plus 5. That guy is factored.